Well, good Wednesday morning. Meteorologist Kerry Cooper here. Of course, another hot day expected across southeast Texas, that's for sure. One thing that's helping us out now is a lot of high clouds streaming in from the east. Of course, in a few minutes, we'll show you that on satellite. First stop, our Roofing 911 Skycam network over in Orange, sponsored by a Horseman's Western Store. A lot of high clouds coming in from Louisiana. Temperatures already in the lower 90s across much of the area. Should top out in the mid, maybe some upper 90s in a few locations. Of course, no rainfall. Now later today, let's say after around 5 or 6 o'clock, a couple of thunderstorms will try to work in from Louisiana. So we'll give it a 20 to 30% coverage coming up late this afternoon into this evening of some showers and storms beginning to work in from Louisiana. You know, we've had high pressure over us the last few days, keeping us really dry and hot. That high will be moving out this evening, allowing some better moisture to work in from the east. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network here in Beaumont, sponsored by Packard & Prey, the high cirrus clouds working in from the east as well. So actually it's been partly sunny or so over the last couple of hours. That may help a couple of locations later today on the heat a little bit. Still pretty hot because we certainly haven't seen the wind, and certainly not much wind in the forecast coming up for the next few days either. Very light pressure gradient we have across southeast Texas, that's for sure. And of course, our other cameras pretty much showing the same thing. Some high clouds out there. We started out in the 70s this morning, warming to the mid to upper 90s. Here's our camera outside our 12 studio, Roofing 911 Skycam network. Outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. High clouds streaming in from the east. We see that from time to time during the summer. It all depends on where high pressure and low pressure set up in the upper atmosphere. Right now we have a high pretty much just to our west, but it'll be moving out the rest of the day, and that's allowing some of that moisture to work in from Louisiana and eventually lead to a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms toward dark this evening and some scattered storms tomorrow on in through the weekend as that moisture comes in from the east. And we have a series of upper level disturbances we'll talk about in a few minutes as well. Over in Lake Charles, our Roofing 911 Skycam network over there, cirrus clouds a little bit thicker off to our east. Certainly no rainfall yet, but later today a couple of storms will be possible. The coverage not real huge today, 20 to 30% late today. But there'll be a couple of folks getting lucky and get cooled off a little bit by one of those afternoon showers and thunderstorms. The temperatures over in southwest Louisiana right now running in the lower 90s already. Be a hot afternoon with those mid to upper 90s scattered across parts of southeast Texas and southwestern Louisiana and the lakes area. Up in Jasper, Roofing 911 Skycam network up there, sponsored by Provalis. Lots of clouds in the lakes too. And once again, highs will be in the mid to upper 90s later this afternoon, and you will also up in the lakes have a little bit of chance of showers and thunderstorms later today as well. Temperatures in the lower 90s already in Jasper and Kirbyville, as well as DeQuincy. 90 in Orange, 89 here in Beaumont, 92 in Woodville. Over in the Houston area, 92 over at Houston Intercontinental, pretty hot there. And I mean, some hot readings. You know, yesterday we had some 97s and 98s. Now, we didn't have as many high clouds coming in as we do today, so that may help us a degree or so. So we'll say 96, maybe 97 coming up later this afternoon, and already 90 up in Huntsville. And most of these areas started out well into the 70s for lows this morning. We were in the mid to upper 70s, very warm, muggy morning across southeast Texas. Now the heat index already feels like 105 in Jasper. That may be running a little bit high there. Feels like 99 in Orange, 95 Port Arthur, and 90s out to our west. Now your allergy report, not too bad for a change. The tree and the grass in good shape. Molds in that medium category, now that may increase a little bit coming up over the next couple of days as we start seeing the return of scattered showers and thunderstorms across southeast Texas. Now, let's take a look at radar. It is quiet across our area right now. One little shower has developed well to the southeast of Cameron, so things are going to be pretty quiet for the next few hours. Now, once we get hotter and that moisture continues to increase from the east, we'll see showers and thunderstorms developing. They'll be scattered, nothing too tremendously widespread. There'll be some scattered storms developing around Lake Charles, Lafayette, and those will attempt to work into the parts of the triangle and lakes later today. So once again, we'll give it a 20, maybe 30% coverage this afternoon, and we'll have a little break overnight, then another chance toward morning especially near the coastline as an upper level disturbance works through the area at that time. So radar quiet now, but we'll see a few more showers later today. High pressure at the surface is also beginning to weaken, but you can see what I'm talking about here on satellite. Now, the moisture continue to coming in from the east. These are high clouds now. It's upper level moisture. Of course, we have the low level moisture in place, but notice most of the rains this morning have been well to the south of New Orleans. A few little showers around Biloxi, but as moisture tracks to the west, we'll see a few storms developing after 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon. And then a little bit better chance coming up for tomorrow and into the weekend. What we have here is a very weak mid-level trough of low pressure southeast of New Orleans, extending back into the north central Gulf. Nothing tropical, of course, but it's a mid-level trough, and it'll work in our general direction coming up for tomorrow, hoping to enhance the shower activity a little bit for those folks needing a relief from the heat. And of high pressure also across the eastern seaboard, and some showers and thunderstorms too. Have actually been pretty heavy this morning around Chicago, back down to St. Louis. Very, very quiet across parts of the southwest. A lot of dry air in place there. And of course, things looking good in the Gulf of Mexico. Tropical wise, we are in pretty good shape. So that's good. All right. Here's what we're going to look at now. Moisture in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. Notice the moisture is beginning to move in. This yellow color here is some pretty moderate mid-level moisture in the medium range. Of course, green is the beginning of the moisture coming in. Of course, the scale here up at the top, the brighter the colors, the deeper the moisture depth deeper. These little spots of red here, those are weak upper level disturbances. So as we put this into motion by this evening, the moisture coming in, we'll have a little disturbance there. That's the reason for we'll have a chance of a few storms late today. There's that trough over the southeastern U.S. back down into the north central Gulf of Mexico. That'll be in our area coming up for tomorrow. We'll show you that in just a moment. Of course, the high pressure ridge that we have over us right now, it's beginning to shift to the west. In fact, by this evening, it'll be east of El Paso. It's over us now, or just to our northwest. It'll be over West Texas coming up by this evening. All right, let's put this into motion. So we head into Thursday morning, tomorrow morning at 10:30. The very weak trough pretty much overhead or just to our southeast. Plenty of disturbances around, plenty of moisture to give us at least a 40% coverage. Showers and storms coming up for tomorrow. And as we head into Friday, the trough kind of moves away from us a little bit. High pressure to the southeast tries to nudge back in a little bit, but we still have plenty of moisture in place for scattered showers and thunderstorms. And there's also a little disturbance coming in on Friday night too, so we'll have a chance then too. And of course, the high over southeast Texas today, well out to our west now around El Paso. Kind of a split in the high. One over us now is way out to the west by Friday. Another one south of Louisiana, so there's that weakness over the area. So we'll have scattered storms. Now what's going to happen as we head into Saturday, and we'll put this into motion. Notice what happened Saturday. The high back to our northwest, the high over Louisiana and the Gulf begins to weaken. That puts us in more of a northwesterly flow. And this is coming up for Saturday. A lot of moisture, northerly flow, mid-atmosphere. Notice an upper level disturbance or two there coming down too. So it looks like Saturday may be our best coverage of showers and thunderstorms. We'll give it a 50% coverage right now for Saturday. And as we head on into Sunday, some of the moisture and energy moves to our south of the Gulf. May see a little bit of a break in the shower activity on Sunday, but there's still enough moisture and heating. We'll have some scattered storms, but I think Saturday could be a little more active than Sunday. Northerly flow, some of this gets shunted to our south, but not completely, because on Monday we still have plenty of moisture. There's a pretty good disturbance coming down on Monday in the upper levels, trough as well, so decent chance of showers and thunderstorms even on Monday of next week. And then the high pressure ridge will attempt to rebuild again from the west, still located over western Texas on Monday. It'll try to expand to the east a little bit. You can see there on Tuesday, so drying out a little bit. So beginning late today, all the way into the weekend, we'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms basically in our forecast. It'll be time to time. You know, it's not going to rain all day at every location, but pretty good chance of rain. And of course, if you have any weather questions, be sure to text us at 409-749-9302. All right, here's Futurecast for this afternoon, 3:30. Still pretty quiet. Couple little showers beginning to pop up here and there, some north of Lake Charles. That's the ones we'll watch as they try to work into Orange County or so around 7 p.m. this evening. Showers and thunderstorms. The coverage not that great, but 20–30% of the area may see a storm, as we talked about earlier. Then overnight, kind of quiet. Then we'll get some redevelopment. Some of our models are showing this, especially near the coastline. And of course, tomorrow morning, showers already redeveloping off to the north of Lake Charles as that deeper moisture works in. Remember, we talked about the trough coming in from the southeast. That's the reason the storms will start a little bit earlier tomorrow, work into parts of the area. So better coverage tomorrow at 40–50% across the area. And it won't be as hot either. We're looking at maybe low 90s tomorrow compared to the mid and upper 90s we've seen lately. Then we'll see a little bit of a break again tomorrow evening. And then, of course, those scattered shower and thunderstorm chances will continue into the weekend. Tropics, great news in the tropics. Nothing in the Gulf, nothing in the Caribbean. Atlantic's quiet. Couple of waves way out to the east. I know that first one will not affect the Gulf or the Caribbean. It looks like it'll turn. So we're in great shape over at least the next 7, 8, 9 days in the tropics. Marine forecast, well, not much wind. What wind there is about of the west, 5 to 10 knots. That water temperature of warm 89 degrees. Our next high tide will be at 7:54 in the morning and tomorrow evening at 9:43. All right, the rest of the day, partly cloudy, hot, mid to upper 90s. We'll put the coverage at 30%. We'll say 20–30%, kind of either one, pretty close, meaning that there'll be a couple of storms around late this afternoon. Pretty hot. Certainly no help from the wind today out of the west. Now tonight, we'll keep 20–30% of the forecast early tonight. So whatever develops in Louisiana and can survive, make it across the Sabine River. There'll be a few evening thunderstorms in parts of the area this evening. Those will weaken. Then we'll see another flare up toward tomorrow morning along the coast and offshore. So we'll be watching out for that. No severe weather expected right now, but of course, anytime you have thunderstorms coming in from the east in the summertime, we've seen this for years and years, they can always contain lots of lightning. So a chance of storms late today toward dark. It increases tomorrow and Friday up to about a 40% coverage, maybe 50% there on Friday. Certainly a 50% coverage on Saturday as a disturbance comes in from the north. Sunday, a little bit less at 40%. That's still scattered storms, and even early next week. 30% on Monday, down to 20% next Tuesday. But as we talked about a while ago, of course, the main weather story the last couple days has been the heat. We've been in the mid to upper 90s. It'll be hot again today and tomorrow, improving a little bit, down to 94, 95 tomorrow. Low 90s on Friday into the weekend. So that is a little bit of relief there. And then as we head into the weekend, maybe lower 90s, maybe 90 for a high. That's much, much better than what we've had. All right, let's check the phone lines and see if we've had any text. And I believe we have one here. Let's see. Yeah, somebody was asking what times are storms expected in southeast Texas. I believe they're assuming later today. Well, as we talked about throughout the course of the streaming here, the best chance of any storms in southeast Texas later today will be after 3 or 4 o'clock. Now, we're not talking about a big coverage, so most of the area won't see a drop late today, but a 20–30% of the area will after around 4 or 5 o'clock. Coming in from Louisiana, there'll be some widely scattered storms coming